There's a free version of that voice mod. I just realized I didn't press record. And what it does, Neil, is it allows you to randomly change out like 5 voice options a day. It'll just change it on you. So occasionally you'll have it. But the paid for version, I think, is like, let's say 27 US, which is like I think 11 England.
Nah, I don't think money's worth as much as it was.
Yeah, me neither.
Because Brexit.
Yeah, Australia's coming from behind, chugging along in their coal-driven train. Like, chugga, 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 we're gonna get you up. Chugga, chugga.
Don't take away our coal, please. It's the only thing our economy's got going at the moment.
Oh, you have all that just like unused land in the middle. Just make a bunch of solar energy. I mean, and you're in pretty much just a giant island. Just do like coastal energy too. But plus, all those storms and everything. Just do wind energy as well. You guys can do renewable energy without an issue.
Why not?
Yeah,
Why
but
not
we
just
need to
have, like,
sell renewable, coal energy to other places to keep our economy afloat.
Just
So-
like
Yeah, you sell it to India and say it's
like
their fault.
like those torches and stuff that you shake. Just attach one of those on either side of every single kangaroo, and then when they eventually die, you just harvest them, and you've just got a full battery. What else could we do? You could do a little solar panel on the back of a koala. That'd be good. What else?
Are they like extinct now?
No.
Did you guys just burn them all down?
Well, no, they didn't.
We
They-
did not burn them down, thank you.
Australia burned them down.
I thought it was intentional.
No, it was America, global warming.
Oh, it was America's global warming. It was just us.
Yes.
It was all us.
Yep.
All right. If it's us, let's blame California.
Yeah, it probably is California. All the aircon. God.
California is like the part of the country that doesn't need it, aside from
Yeah,
like one small
exactly.
part of the pot.
And they all still have it, Scott.
Fair enough. Let's blame Tyler. Tyler, it's 65 degrees, Tyler. Yeah, but I gotta keep my muscles, my veins popping. Keep them veins popping.
He's got to keep the
push-ups.
temperature just right so that he looks vascular enough.
Yeah, swole, right? Wait, I thought you wanted it hot for your veins to pop and cold to make them like retreat.
Yeah.
Oh, I did.
The aircon can do both, you realize.
I mean, not really, not unless it's central air. Like an air conditioner is a thing you put in your window and it sucks in the hot air and spits out cold air and then spews out heat out the coils out the back and drips water.
You just have a split system and it does both.
You can, but those are expensive and not as common. If you think about it, almost every American that has air conditioning, getting something like that, you have to install it permanently. And if you're like an apartment hopper, somebody that's like living in apartments, you're not doing that.
I forgot you guys are all crowded in small apartment buildings.
I mean, I've lived that way, but
I wish that I had an air conditioner for this window.
Besides, crowded in small places, that's the English way of living. That's we call them condominiums.
True.
Condominiums, So you buy like a 5x5x5 block, and you're like, I call this a home.
Yeah.
I put a little bit of flowers out my window, and
Well, you see
it's
more.
quite homely.
So my house, right? 2-bedroom in my location, wherever that is. My location. This is the 2nd bedroom. I'm touching one wall now.
Yeah.
And half another arm, and I'm touching the other wall. That's the 2nd bedroom, right? Okay. This thing would cost over 300,000 to buy.
Yep.
I'm never buying a house in this area.
Listen. Again, it's the idea is like where Josh moved up to in Massachusetts. He's renting a cardboard box, and I'm like, oh my god, your rent is insane. And it's like I know this means less to you too, but it's like at least before, I don't know now. It's like a 900 square foot place, maybe smaller, maybe like I think you said it was smaller, maybe like a 750 square foot place. And the price for that, I'm not gonna, that's his details. I'm just like, holy shit, like that is insanity. So I'm like, move away from Boston. Get away from that place. That place is bad.
You should have brought him in as a tenant.
I mean, I do actually have a space available as of 13 days from now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, you want to come to the Americas? You bring in your own healthcare? It's BYOH.
That honestly, yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
I couldn't ever live in America, I think, because of that. Right there.
Mm-hmm.
Legitimately could not.
Yep.
I think my injections cost like over £100 per.
And then convert that to US, that's like $15,000 each.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to have a markup so someone can live. Let's be reasonable here. They've got to live.
Of course. I mean, their yacht is only 47 feet. Their friend's yacht is 49 and a half.
Oh my God.
How dare? How
It's
dare?
It's just unfair.
Unfairness.
But sir, I can't live without my insulin. I
I
gotta eat.
I can only keep 6 servants on this yacht, and I have to look at them. Look at them.
My wife has 2 pool boys.
Oh, Neil, there's a job for you. You can go be the pool boy. She'll pay for your injections. Like, well, I can't dare to lose Neil.
Oh yes, I'm rather fond of this one.
I must get a handle on this situation. And when I say situation, I mean...
Oh God.
Yeah, you can take that one home. You're welcome. All right, anyways. Moving on. Where were we? Now, oh, Jake, you were asking about reaching into a cache to pull out shiny objects.
If you ever show me around Boston, I'd like to buy a tub of tea, please. Loose tea leaf. And just yeet it into the sea.
They gotta have like a location specifically for that.
Well, I mean, so, honestly, you're missing out on a thing there. That could be like a tourist attraction.
I mean,
like,
for a very niche.
You pay far too much money for like this small thing of real English tea, and then you yeet it into the sea, and everyone cheers.
It's so funny.
And then there's like a pre-made recording that's like, no taxation without representation when you throw it in.
Oh, it would be a tourist attraction for people from Washington, D.C.
Exactly.
Oh, and if you don't get the reference, they get taxed without representation. Or, we also have all the islands that we own.
Yeah. Isn't that like the greatest irony? I didn't know that. Isn't that amazing?
Oh,
Washington, D.C. called Washington, and they...
Yep.
That's glorious.
Yep. They have, they can control most of their own laws, but don't get to be a part of the selection of other ones. Yeah, it's cool. Cool story, bro.
Yeah.
Anyways. So, no, not TC. Not TC. I mean, you can TC if you want, but you know what I'm saying? DC, as in District of Columbia. Thank you, Steve, for that build point 9 minutes ago when we were just going live and started chatting about nothing.
Well, we need to chat for a while because otherwise, like, Thronekeeper looks really bad.
Oh. Well, but what about my new campaign that's starting up? Because that campaign's all about... Oh. I'm sorry.
Wait, you mean Aurorum Gem Cutter, the Academy RPG where you're training to become a Gem of Eroth?
Oh, that is not where I saw you going with it. That could be a fun one.
God, you thought I was talking about like hunting down and murdering like Chrysalin. Oh my God.
No, I honestly thought you were going to make a reference to Guinevere and Kitsul and what's his face actively trying to learn how to harness the mole power. But the fact that you brought that, I was like, oh, that's actually a really cool. We could play that made RPG. That could be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, Aurorum Dream
Anna
Daddy.
suggested,
Dream
yeah.
Daddy. That works. It works. Oh, Dream Daddy. I mean,
It
Jake,
would be a
do you think
fun
Dream
short
Daddy
campaign.
works We could do like a stream, Jake. We could do a stream with all dads.
Uh,
Do you
Sounds
think?
like
Yeah,
I think we could make that work.
yeah, we might be able to get a stream of all dads. Let's see. There's me, you, Josh. Do we have any other dads? Wade likes to think he's a daddy of puppies. That doesn't count. They're not people. Aurorum only Jake. Oh, thanks. Aurorum only fans.
Aurorum Jakes.
No, what's we gotta find another dad, Jake. We
don't have any other dads.
Dungeon Papa is not a dad. He's like 17.
He's not a daddy to any children.
Before I met him, I was like, oh, so how many kids do you have? He's like, what? How many kids do you have? He's like, oh, I don't have children. That's just my stream name. I'm like, how did you get that? That's what my friends call me. What kind of friends do you have, bro? like, oh, you live in that part of Canada? Never mind. I get it. That's the part in Maine when we refer to them as they're from the deep north. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. It's cool. Moving on. All right. Oh, ouch, Vance. Ouch.
Yeah, I know. What the hell?
Yeesh.
You know what, should we have a podcast where we talk about the Erothian spoiler podcast?
I won't lie. I was busy at the time, but there was like 3 questions they were asking that I wanted to answer, and I was like, oh, my hands are busy. I'll forget them. So I moved on.
I answered one as well. When it crops up, like something crops up, and they're like, "Oh, I'm not sure." And I'm like,
yeah, right. Like, I know the answer to this. Like, yes, the fields of honeysuckle did actually reference something that did come out in a different campaign about a year later in real time. Yes, that was actually a thing that was intentionally put there. Honeysuckle was always the detail. And the way you know that I'm not lying or making it up is that I can just say simply, the name Abstergo 13 came from a campaign over 10 years ago, and I could bring it up in front of certain people that knew what that was. And they're like, oh my God, you're using that character? Or, oh, that's an old reference. You know what I mean? So like that was very much meant to be there for a long time. All right.
I'm not sure they want Scott as a guest.
Yeah, they probably did. Yeah.
That's bad business right there.
We're just going to start talking about it. I mean, granted, they had Joey on and, you know, Joey trolls. So,
well, I mean, no, you start with your weakest link and move up.
Fair enough.
Sorry, Snagger.
Fair enough. I did appreciate that they brought Joey on, and I was like, oh, that's actually a really good idea. Joey has a pretty deep knowledge and whatnot. Like, it was actually a really good person to bring on. And then it became the Snaga podcast and friends. I was like, I think Vance and Steve combined said about 1/20th the amount that Joey did. Joey's like, out of my way, bitches, I'm taking over. And I was like,
well,
good on you, Joey.
He was doing a recap.
It was pretty funny. I and I mean that with love, truly do. So
it's like me.
Oh, he kneel jacked.
I get on a stream and I'm just like, I'm here.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. He's like, ladies and gentlemen, be prepared for your first speech. Sorry. Let me make sure. Before we actually jump into the game, I need to make sure I appropriately represent Joey in this situation.
I had to recap 3 VODs. 3 VODs. 3 of them.
Look at the disappointment on Jake's face right now.
I was just expecting a different voice. That's all.
For Joey? Oh, yeah. I have this one. Hold on.
So what went on last little short session? I think the biggest thing was
it was really hard rewatching. It was really hard for me to rewatch all those podcasts. That was a very difficult thing for me. Sorry.
I think is it possible to TC the Dungeon Master? Yes, it's an FF.
Yeah, listen, Joey, you're in one of my spoiler chats, my Patreon spoiler chat, and you already know I feel like I got TC'd recently.
Kundan died, even though he can see creatures that can cast invisibility at will, but don't use it because it's kind of hard. It's like breathing.
So it had nothing to do with Kudan dying. It had to do with something else. And it was something that was going to impact all 3 campaigns simultaneously. And oh well, I didn't get my fun toy. And of course, Green's sitting there being like, oh,
Look at that.
Green's sitting there and being like, well, you don't deserve
Mate.
So
he's like, move over, Neil. It's my podcast now.
Hey, Tesh. We've just
So
We're
I
just about
fell
to change it
asleep
to
at my
just
desk.
chatting.
yeah, we've just been chatting BS for like I
I'm
don't know,
sorry.
Now.
however long.
I fell asleep at my desk.
We thought that would be the case.
At
so
your
we-
desk.
Yes, at my desk.
He's got
Sir,
a comfy chair, remember?
have you stood up since?
Dude, this chair, yes, I have. I stood up and walked around.
Okay, and how's your back?
Fine, this chair is amazing.
He's got great
Okay.
lumbar support, this chair.
Seriously.
I wondered
Secret
where that was
Labs.
going to go. I thought Scott was going to
Sponsor
tell a
me.
story about like one time he fell asleep at his desk and then he stood up and like just fell over also like and then he realized he'd soiled himself in his sleep. He's like, oh god.
Oh, I can tell
Let me
you.
get all the things open, sir.
No,
Sorry
you're good,
about that,
Tish. You're
guys.
good. You take a moment. I can tell you a way more sad story than that. So, a little TMI on this one.
Oh.
I can't always, little TMI. I can't always go to the bathroom, but sometimes like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom. So I go and I sit down, and then I'm like, it's not gonna happen. But sometimes you're like hopeful enough. You stay there long enough. When you stand up, you're like, I can't walk for 5 minutes. I'm just gonna stand here for about 5 minutes until I'm capable of moving my feet without it feeling like me picking up something the size of a mid-sized dog and moving it.
What?
Listen, I'm lactose intolerant and I eat a lot of ice cream. It's listen, it's just you accept
You
the
eat, like,
consequences for your actions.
Do you eat like dried fruit every day?
I eat fruit every day, but not dried fruit.
Well, dried it's good because it pulls in water. It's got lots of fiber.
Tesh broke it.
Yeah, that's it. It worked for so long.
I'm
The
like,
string,
do you eat dried fruit? I'm like, no.
Wait, what do you mean? You bust your ass on Wednesday morning to catch the stream? Don't you? I'm not
so
gonna make that
I
joke.
literally was like, there's no way I am staying away. Like if I go to sleep, there's no way I'm getting up for the stream. So I'm like, I'll just buckle down in Arc, get some stuff done for the server while I just sort of chill out. And then I put some stuff into craft, let back, and then just oops. Suddenly now.
Yeah, we thought you'd be asleep, so we decided not to ring you because it feels cruel
Oh yeah.
to
yeah,
wait
Sorry about that.
to wake someone up when they need sleep over
Yeah.
D&D.
Yeah. No, there's no way we were gonna go grab at you. My name's not Trump. So all right, cool.
Oh, I will be ordering food at some point though, because I
Good
think
for
I need
you.
food.
I've never heard. Okay, yeah. Let's go. Where was I? Right. Okay. So last session, nothing that important happened, other than the super important thing, which was Raerin told Ilen about the devil
Yes.
contract and the boots.
Hold on one second. If and when this ever makes its way onto YouTube, I'm slowly working on Brittany trying to convince her that if I upload them, she'll get them posted for me so we can be more consistent about it in the future. Let's see if it works. I'm working on it, guys. Wish me luck. But you
Can't
know,
you set up like automatic posting? Or, like...
you have to still do a bunch of stuff once you like upload it to like and
I
get it
see.
ready. And yeah, anyways, I'm working on it.
Maybe you should get an editor. You could snipe
So-
Dean off Mathis.
Trying to use. I'm trying to use those boys are in each other. Anyways, if you're watching this on YouTube, can you drop a pin right about here?
For the beginning of the game, yeah, nice. That's
Yeah.
a good shout.
Yeah. All right. Oh, and let's go to our first break. Neil, go ahead.
That was the most important thing that happened. The other thing that happened is Jake's new character. What's his name? The Mole King. Kroll. Kroll
Oh, yeah.
is currently in Kurzful, though he is currently under guard. But he has been moved to Kurzful. And also, we found out some interesting stuff about Amulta from Guinevere. We had some bits about the
Oh, yeah.
experimentation that they were doing, and bits about some of the other PCs come to light.
Yeah.
A null magic curse as well, like or disease or something.
Yes,
Yeah.
disease.
When Messi was like, I'm glad I got to see more exposition of my backstory on a different campaign than I did in my own. That's exciting. Pretty funny. Anyways, continue. Neil.
I think that was it.
Oh, okay, cool.
I was just thinking. I was like, is there anything else? Did I miss anything, chat?
Those were the big ones.
Yeah, I think that was it.
It was a short one, so
We dispatched off some advisors for various tasks as well. For example, what's his face is heading.
Arthur is heading over to Malta, and what's her name is the only what's her name is looking into Drazstone and so on and so forth. Cool. Let us continue.
Oh, yeah.
With...
Ilen went on a date. He went for a lunch
Date.
date with Guinevere.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I mean, honestly, you creeped her out, and then she's like, "I like him creepy."
that's right. You guys were being obnoxious last time. I remember this now.
Yeah. All right. So if you guys are ready, I'm willing to get back into it. But before we do anything else, I just want to say to all the gentlemen and milady.
Jesus.
What the fuck? Okay, that's a thing.
What, you guys aren't cool like me? No?
Do you know
I'm
what
actually
those
really enjoying
sunglasses?
this.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was that? Neil?
So I'm just imagining this what Scott looks like when he's blind. He's just got those big sunglasses. Oh,
Cool.
Oh wow. No, that's not right. That's wrong.
Well, we could all be a king.
You're not a king though.
Well, we could all be a king. No? All right, fine. Let's get to the real game. So, anyways, we should have showed that to the data. Let's get to the real game. On our show tonight, what we have going on is
Well, he's got a new setup and he's having fun.
He's just playing.
no, you guys probably have it too. It's actually
Professional stream. Wait,
it's actually native to Zoom.
it's in Zoom.
Oh, it was a Zoom update. Okay.
Yeah.
Where do I find this?
Oh, now Neil's gonna wear his crown all day. That was called by somebody. Can't remember who called it. I think it was Josh.
What are the options?
Oh, jeez. I just
No.
derailed it. Am I bad? Everybody, is this my fault? Should we?
I
move
got
on?
it. I don't know where
have
it is.
filters.
It might not be
I have
out yet.
nothing.
It might be American only.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
I have nothing.
I'm
I have no
socially
filters.
conscious. When I stream with my friends, I make sure that I stay at least 6 feet apart, and I wear my mask. So
That did they really fucking put that in?
oh yeah, you can wear a cloth mask or an N7, whatever you can get your hands on, so long as you're being careful.
That's a yikes from me.
No, I think it's a good idea. Wearing masks should become commonplace. Oh my god, this
I
would
mean,
be
that's
amazing.
true, but like, oh,
My camera
Scott.
broke.
good.
I think I think I may have some sort of disease.
So this chat is what Scott would look like as a ghoul. Don't worry, I've got a screenshot of that. That's going to be posted up. Glorious. Well, that, Scott, is karmic justice for what you've just done.
I'm sorry.
At best, Noi would say that is a chaotic neutral action. What I really wanted to happen there was for Scott to have disappeared off the screen, but then him to walk in on the virtual background and sit down on that chair. Why can't you do the good edit?
I
Why can't
know.
you do the good edit?
You're not the first person to say that, but I was like, look at that beautiful piece of art. Hold on one more second. Then we really got to get to the game. Look at this. Hold on.
Oh dear. I
What's
don't
he
know why I
about to
looked
do?
back. I knew what was there, and yet I looked.
All right. We really got to get into the game now. It's bad. All right. All right. First of all, let's go back to Cursefall. All right. We're there. Let's get rid of this goofy filter. All right. It's gone. All right. And now we're back.
Now that we've set the appropriate tone for this game,
It's a shit show.
Scott, it's time to stop.
Yep. Gotcha. So, all right. The tone has been set. You said that you finally told Ilen about the devils, and Ilen's response was, "Cool."
I mean, it wasn't quite that. Let's not be disingenuous to the poor lad.
It was it was lucky that he had seen other sides of Raerin before learning this, is what he said. Oh my god, what is Naga doing in chat?
He's referencing something from Lost Initiative. So anyways, yeah, you as you were saying, like Tesh, it wasn't like you took it that easily. There was a bit of a pause that came along with accepting the fact that Raerin is pragmatic. But anyways, where we left off with your character Kroll, I know that you specifically wanted to slip away from them. What you're gonna have to do to even try to do that, what's your face? Shake is roll me a stealthy check. By the way, can I get points for not screwing up Jake's name in a while?
No.
Okay.
I say it's the start of the session. It's the start of the session for me.
It's a basic function to name things correctly. We spent several years as a baby doing it.
Wisdom in from the flesh trait. That's concerning. What is the flesh trait?
I
No,
don't.
it's wisdom in the flesh
wisdom in
trait.
the flesh trait. It allows me to have it as a class skill.
Wisdom in the flesh. I
Right,
thought it said wisdom
that's-
in from the flesh. I don't know. I apparently am tired. It's America. So you get a 22. Honestly, you are able to slip away from the guards and do a little bit of exploring of Cursefall without being, watched constantly by them. I want to say it's not one of those comical things where all of a sudden the guards are like, "Hey, where did he go? I thought you were watching him. We better go find him." "Yeah, but don't let Raerin know because, off with his head," or whatever it is that he does. And then like, okay, there's like a Scooby-Doo scene where they're like running around trying to find you, and you hear some like fun overture, and as you're like ducking behind things, but anyways, nothing quite that goofy, but it's close enough too. Your character is able to slip away and go explore a little bit of Cursefall by himself. Is there anything particular that you would want to go and examine quickly to, I suppose, have alone time with your new friend?
He just trying to explore the city more or less at his own leisure. He's trying to, pinpoint if there's any important buildings around and just get a feel for it without being watched.
Important buildings from before, or important buildings that exist there now?
Probably anything that seems important.
Okay. So
There's a keep, and we've already explored the keep.
yeah, which was the primary existing building. So as you're walking through the town, you occasionally get kind of like memories of things that just seem out of place. The whole place just seems a little out of place to you. Not all the time, just like it comes in waves. Like, this is wrong. That's not supposed to be there. You're triggered not by literally any building you see or whatnot. It's usually about when you see something that's too similar but slightly off. Like, let's say if you distinctly remember there being an alleyway somewhere to your right, and that alleyway is somewhere like one of those you can almost like instinctively turn and run down the alleyway from having gone down that way many times before in your past, for whatever reasons it might be. And you look that way, and literally, like the exactly where the alley would be is like the front door to a building. You know what I mean? Or it's like off by ever so slightly, whatever the case may be, right? So it's one of those like, oh, everything just seems like just a hair off. And it's just kind of like, ugh, this is wrong. It feels wrong. Anyways, so as you're making your way throughout Kurzfall, Kurzfall doesn't really have any buildings that jump out as noteworthy. Sans 1, which I'm definitely going to be bringing up. It's actually, because it's the biggest of them, it's the one that you'd be attracted to the most. There's the Temple of the Martyr. That definitely strikes you as being a bit off. Keep yawning. Haven't had coffee yet.
Make a coffee, dude.
Yeah, during our break if we ever get one.
Well, we're 7 minutes late for it.
Oh, it's just don't worry. It's just Neil trying to end my RP. Don't worry.
Jake said enough screen time now. Come on.
You got your 7 minutes in, Jake. Take a seat.
His camera's frozen again, guys.
Kurzfall itself. Here we go. So the building that would jump out to the most to you is actually specifically the Temple of the Martyr. Is the one that would
Chat are paying for your coffee now.
First of all, thank you. Sorry, I heard the but I didn't look because I was memeing of the frozen camera. So yeah, temple. So to the Temple of the Martyr, you are. Did you just print scream? Whenever I hear that exact key punch, that's a print screen. I know that key punch.
It's not. Don't worry about it.
God damn it, Jake. It strikes you as strange because, of course, you see the visage of the martyr outside of it, and again, you have this like mixed feeling of seeing it. You, Kroll, have heard of this goddess before. She was a well-known goddess in Adir for hundreds of years. Outside of it, far less so. Somewhat inside of Paradel and so on and so forth. But looking at that image, you get this like reaction to you, like more or less like evil bitch, you know, sort of like a reaction to you as you see it. So of course, it attracts you to want to go and look inside the building. When you go walking inside, checking the building out, you go in and it's during a time of day when, you know, there's not really any parishioners there. Instead, the person that stands out most to you is a woman. Somebody that obviously the rest of the cast and whatnot would know as Nelly, but you yourself, wait.
That's not right.
Talia? Nelly? Nelia?
We don't know the name of any priest or priestess of the martyr.
Yeah.
Nelly's the one to Vroga.
Nelly, and she's Vroga. No, fail.
Yeah,
she's not there.
That's the problem we were having, not the problem with the name.
Yep, wrong god. Moving on. So, anyways, would be nobody that really stands out to you, but very few parishioners inside there. One of the things that you notice when you go in, though, is that there's actually a statue in there, not of the martyr, instead of somebody you've never seen before, somebody that you're not familiar with, some man. And so you would go, and it's funny to find a man inside of the martyr's temple. But you go walking over and to check it out, inspecting the whole area. Looking around.
No one he's seen before? Interesting. Wouldn't the other spirit have seen?
But it doesn't always flare up for him.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So when you go over there and you're checking out the statue, so on and so forth, looking at it, you see that strangely it looks like there's a bunch of equipment or gear or stuff, junk really, laid out in front of the statue. Some of it seeming to be worn by the statue, almost like honorifically put there. Much like Jake, I don't know if you ever in real life have gone to like one of those museum, like as an example, because we were talking about Lord of the Rings earlier. I went to a Lord of the Rings showing in the Museum of Science in Boston before, where they had beautiful wax recreations of all of the primary cast members and a couple of like the extras. It's really cool. But then the actual clothing worn by Aragorn or Viggo Mortensen during the set was like put inside of a glass case and put like right next to where the wax was. It was like really well done. It was really cool. Something like that was like honorifically put there. Anyways, looking at the stuff, it's junk. It's like dirty, torn, and used adventure gear. Yeah, he used magic to reweave itself, so on and so forth. But even magic doesn't have a perfect recreation. It still leaves bits of, you can note the fact that there is the imperfections there. But something stands out to you. It's standing there, leaning against the post that it's against. You can feel the power coming off of it. You can feel the old power radiating off of it. There's a staff. And
Don't
in
I
it,
have the staff?
no, you never took it.
Thought we had it for the.
Did you?
I took it in the inauguration.
Oh, okay, then never mind. You don't see that there. And have you met Ilen yet?
No.
Okay,
No,
good.
not yet.
Good. I was like, did I miss a detail? Then, to be continued.
Yeah,
You look around the room, you leave.
see,
Exposition.
See,
This time. Jake, it wasn't Neil this time. Tesh said your turn's over.
what? No, I'm sorry. I am just trying to make sure the facts are right. Fuck
What do you mean? There's plenty of other artifacts up there.
His dirty old shoes. Looks like a pair Sonic wore.
There's Valrin's balls, mummified carefully in a little sack, like Saint's knucklebones.
I mean, little. We're talking blueberries at best and not in season.
That's really rude to Valrin.
I mean, did you meet the guy?
Yes.
Even when he found out about devils, he was like, I'd rather not argue with them over it.
He jumped off an eagle?
Yeah, I mean, because he didn't have the balls to handle it.
In that last moment, his balls went...
See, now that would make me jump too, because that sounds painful. I'm like, nope. Oh. All right, never mind. Jake, you look around. It's interesting. Emotions, you leave. Back to you, boys.
Professional dungeon master.
There's a lot of factors. I'm still recoiling from last week. So, going back to you, gentlemen. Ilen, of course, you eventually return home. You, of course, have a lot of details that you are asked not to tell Raerin about, so I'm sure you want to go tell him right away. And Raerin, you have a person to introduce him to. We can pull this all back together in the castle.
Obviously, Raerin would, as we said, he's coming through. He's just had that rather awkward conversation with Ilen, and he's in the castle, and he's like, "Where's Krull?"
Krull comes walking in the door behind you.
Oh, where are your guards?
Who do you say that to?
Krull.
Just looks absent-mindedly around him. What guards?
This is Krull, Ilen. He's the man I was telling you about.
Nice to meet you. He extends a hand for a shake.
This is Ilen, chosen of the hearth.
Ilen. Chosen of the hearth. And he'll walk up to you and take your hand. Probably looks at it a little bit and looks you in the eyes.
Does anybody else get the impression that Krull does like a dead fish handshake?
No?
Like he like fully gives you the hand, but then it just like sits there. It's like one of those. You know what I mean? Like, eh. And so you like get a firm grasp and you're like, oh, this is uncomfortable for me. No?
No, not at all.
I think he does. In my mind, he does.
Did you tell me if he had the spirit of the mole in him?
I did.
I think you did, yeah.
I understand he was a bit overshadowed by the far more interesting facts about Raerin.
Yeah. He would like. I don't know. You know what?
He's gonna
I
exercise his
am gonna.
gravitate.
No, I'm gonna do one of these to try and hide the fact that I'm watching for you, looking for people who aren't there.
Okay,
Yes, they're all
so
sense
you're gonna get
motive.
Sense motive, yeah.
Yep. You definitely notice that
he
I am
rolled
watching
so
you
much
more
higher than you.
intently.
He
Yep.
rolled so much higher than you.
I mean,
God.
I have a modifier, but yeah.
No. His natural number was better.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, it was. So yeah, you definitely see him watching you more intently than just a normal greeting.
It doesn't phase him at all. He kind of looks at you with a very, he's very inquisitive, put it that way. He doesn't try and hide it.
Okay. Just sort of looks towards Raerin like, so.
So how did you find Cursedful?
New? Different? The same?
You brought him through the teleporter.
Yes, you realize he's
Yeah.
been out about the town.
He guessed that he snuck out.
Two meanings.
Different
Oh.
but the same.
Yes?
I hate you, Scott.
Different as in full of life. The same as in some of the same foundations.
Different but the same.
I see. What does your passenger think of this?
What do you think of this?
If he looks in a direction, I am 100% using detect magic and looking straight in that direction.
Be my
You
guess,
flip.
cast.
Appropriate.
And that's a good point. Ilen's eyes would light up with the fire. Only a little, because it's a cantrip.
I don't know what that reveals, but there's like he's not looking at anything. He's just looking to the side.
Interesting. Did he respond?
You'll tell when he's speaking. You may not have met him, but I have. He's obnoxious.
Ah,
At times.
noted.
So
this is-
ritual was why I'm here.
Yes. Marg suggested that a ritual could be performed surrounding Vigil. That would allow us to direct all of the spirits to the next world safely without the need for anyone to be harmed. However, it would require some, perhaps, blood animal sacrifice. He is unsure. I, too, am unsure about this whole business, seeing as he is not particularly sure himself. Rituals are an imprecise magic at best.
Scott, can I make whatever the relevant check is to see whether or not I'm familiar enough with this said ritual?
I mean, you can try, but this is something that's coming from the east, and you are not.
Yeah,
Eastern.
I don't know, but I don't know what the other guy knows.
Yeah, I was gonna say witnessing his research might have a better impact than just talking about something. So vaguely, why don't you go ahead and roll me an Arcana?
Okay, I will cast a spell before I do this as well. Okay.
Burst of Insight is a +8 enhancement bonus to your intelligence, which means a +4 to the roll. Okay.
Okay, so.
But you become dazed afterwards. I mean, aren't you always?
He's old.
Arcana. Alright.
Wait.
34, 5.
You have to use an O, not a 0. They're a Tesh.
I copied yours.
Yeah, it must be a typo. Look at like what Shadow and
He set that one up
This one's, yeah.
specially for Doxy so that she always gets 24 out of 18.
what? I have no idea what you're talking about. Roll for Arcana 31. Does that incorporate the additional +4 or no?
No.
Do you want to luck it?
Yeah, I would.
F's in chat for Tesh.
Oh, we got 2 though, so.
That's good news. At least you know you have that, right? All right, cool. And I have to add your BP in a minute. So, with your 32, to your knowledge or Arcana check, you are
36.
able. Oh, my apologies. 36. You said yes, not no. As you
you
said no,
lucked
not
it.
yes.
Wait, he's
So
not chosen voice again.
Shut up, you. You have 36 to your knowledge or Arcana check. You actually are vaguely familiar with this ritual. If you remember correctly, the way that this ritual works, the way it's being described, a ritual that's going to kind of like pull them together and kind of binds them. You don't think it necessarily sends them to the like elsewhere, to the negative energy plane. You actually think it specifically binds them to something, which makes it so sure they'll no longer be a hassle because they'll be encapsulated inside something. What that is, you don't know. There's so many different ways that you can manipulate rituals, so on and so forth. It's just you're thinking about the types of magics. And when I say you, I mean you. I was thinking about the different types of magics. And you know that binding is how you were able to grab elementals. And since we know what elementals are now, those were able to be kind of encapsulated in ways. So perhaps it's in reference to something like that. Maybe it's even a way to make a new moat.
If what I'm getting is right, this ritual does not destroy the spirits, merely binds them to something. They won't be an issue. They'll just be bound.
I see. That's at odds with what Mog thought.
Yes, that would only be half of the problem solved.
Yes, well, Mog is not the most knowledgeable in these matters.
Yes, well, most of us don't have an arcane entity residing in our bodies.
Maybe you should.
Nonetheless, this ritual's out of the question. I won't consign good people to whatever that may cause them to go through. Octavia deserves better than that.
Octavia?
A woman, she was the vigil, a leader of these people, the leader. She was the embodiment of her god on this earth.
She has managed to retain quite a bit of herself in becoming a spectre.
She sacrificed her life to summon these specters in a dire scenario to protect her people. She also helped protect a deer during the previous war.
Interesting. I wish to go to where all these specters are.
What good will it do?
I don't know until I go. Where is it?
vigil.
You
Do
have
I
to
have any?
you have to remember, Neil. Vigil is a very isolationist.
I'm
and-
well aware.
Yeah. Okay.
Where is Vigil?
If I told you where it was, I wouldn't want you to interfere in any way.
What do you mean?
You clearly possess knowledge of this ritual. Were you to perform this or a ritual similar to it, you could cause significant damage. I cannot
I don't
trust you.
seek to perform the ritual. If you do not wish it, that is your own business. Nothing to do with me.
Exactly. Which is why I'm perplexed as to your interest in the matter.
I feel a pull. I want to go out. I share a certain kinship with the spirits.
I see.
Might be worth a shot.
So where is it?
I suppose it would be worth a shot.
We will
I
likely
imagine
have-
we'll need to head with you, otherwise Vigil will
Yes.
deal with you in accordance to the other spirits. I suppose we could show you the way.
Shall we leave?
Yes, I suppose so.
Let me go put my traveling clothes on. Up to
As-
the room.
As opposed to those party pants you were wearing earlier.
He was all dressed up for his date.
Oh, fuck off. The second I said something, I'm like, oh, fuck, it's going to get turned around.
Yeah.
And it did.
Yeah, but did she? So what was it?
Wow.
Khakis? Is that what you wore? You wore khakis? Like I wore my good
Wow.
khakis. I ironed these ones.
Mog's off
look.
in the other key.
Yeah,
Look,
but
in Australia, you put
Mog is
on
a-
different clothes to go through the land. You put in stuff that's less biteable.
Oh, I was gonna say we do that here too. I take off my pants that have huge gaping holes inside them and put on pants that look moderately respectable, small gaping holes inside of them.
Only one gaping hole in a specific slot.
Ilen wears, wow. Ilen wears sandals with socks. How dare?
Hold on,
probably.
wait a second. I don't know. Thong socks or Jesus sandals, the strappy ones, because that's a very big distinction. There's also the flippy floppies, the ones that just go across the toes over here. So there's the thong, there's the just toe strap, and then there's the Jesus ones that like. Anyways, moving on. Yeah, Mog would take you about 90 seconds to obtain because you just walk to it. Hello. Oh my God. I suggest getting married. It's
Oh, okay.
Well, he wasn't wearing pants, everyone.
Yeah, well, that's it's gonna be like maybe 60,
marriage.
70.
10 out of 10 would do again. No, I mean never, sweetheart. You're the one and only.
That was quick, Scott. Oh, that was quick.
What?
Every time for him.
Getting up there in age now, aren't you?
Ooh, I'm excited. It's a bagel with bacon in it. Oh.
Did you get a coffee delivery as well?
Do you hear that? There's my ass growing. Just for you, Neil.
Oh,
Look. Neil, look. It's black, just like
Hey.
Raerin's soul.
wow. We don't do that sort of connotation here.
Mm.
Raerin's soul is perfectly light, yet also evil. Thank you very much.
Perfectly black like Raerin's soul, and just like Raerin, it'll get consumed. All right, so
I thought you were going to say bitter, but
but it's not bitter. It's delicious. Like, because it's brewed a certain way with a certain type of bean. All right.
yeah,
anyways.
we'll send someone to get Mug. Sure.
Okay, cool. So Mog will join you guys. The 3 of you plus Mog. Is that it? Just the 4 of you? And a contingent of guard, of course. Like, I don't charge you guys to take 6 guards with you or whatever it is. Oh, she's watching. It was like, I will not be done up by Scott's wife. I will also come make a delivery to Neil. And he's like, she got me Tylenol. Because he's a pain. Oh, okay.
But we call it paracetamol here, and she does get that for me because sometimes after I do injections, I'll like have a fever of like 39 something and a massive headache, and like I once made it down the stairs and like literally fell down the stairs on my way down. Luckily, I fell backwards, so I was all right. But like I can't really walk. Yeah, I can't like, and I just stayed there for a bit. I can't really walk very well at that point, so sometimes she does go get me paracetamol.
Yeah, we have
a godsend.
paracetamol here as well. Panadol was what we call it normally.
Well, Panadol we have as well, but it's a brand.
Yeah, it's one of those things where here it's kind of become the name that people use for it, even though it's paracetamol.
It's the same with Tylenol over there.
Yeah,
I'm fairly certain Tylenol is a brand.
Usually I say acetaminophen.
Because you actually call it.
Yeah,
you call it. I always want to call it amphetamine, but
no.
Oh no.
You also. American doses are bigger than English. I don't know about Australian.
It could be
your
because
standard dose is 1.2 grams. If you have 2 tablets,
here if you have
1 gram.
Here, if you have 1 tablet, it's 200 milligrams.
Oh, it must be a state by state thing.
No, because it's pretty universal. I mean, pretty
my
universal.
friend, I can't remember where he went. In my opinion.
Like
Seattle or something.
2 tablets is like I'm doing really bad. I need 2 tablets, and we have 500 milligram tablets.
Yeah. So we have 500 milligrams, but the dose would be 500 to 1 gram.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But these were 600 milligram tablets so we sell them in blisters, like you might have antibiotics, but it was in like a like there's 500 of these bad boys in here.
So you usually you know why you're saying 1, because that's you get doctors prescribe the much heavier one. It doesn't really matter if you go to a basic drugstore or a grocery store, whatever it is, and you pick them
pharmacy.
up. Yeah, pharmacy's different, right? Because pharmacy will have a higher like.
But you don't need that prescribed.
Well, it depends on what kind of location you go to. But again, generally speaking, 200 milligrams per pill, you can buy the 500 milligram or the 1,000 milligram ones. But the funny part is, most of the time, I weigh 210 pounds. Convert that to your fake system if you'd like. But I weigh 210 pounds. So realistically, I need 2 if I have a pretty massive headache, which is 400 milligrams. But I know people that are like, no exaggeration, like 93 pounds. Again, convert that. And they'll always take 4 or 5. Like, I get a small headache, 4 or 5. And I'm like...
no, they can't weigh 93, surely, unless they're like 5 foot.
Her parents moved here from Vietnam, and she's 5'4", I think.
Damn.
Yeah, so...
That's insane.
Yeah, one time somebody...
warns me not to take too much of mine.
One time somebody described her as 97 pounds or something like that, and she was offended. She's like, how dare? Like, I do not weigh that much.
I worry about America.
Well, she obviously, she's American 100%, but her parents moved here, so slightly different genetic, right? So anyways, but either way, so that doesn't matter. Back to what we were talking about, which is you got Mog, and you are bringing him to the south. Anything you wanted to do along the way? Anything we should talk about? Here, technically, you could swing by the fire moat. It's slightly out of the way, but
they're leading.
Did we want to go by the fire moat for anything?
Or we could just head straight there.
I wouldn't bring anything up. That's why I'm following you.
I see no reason to head to the fire moat. It's just a diversion. I mean, we can go pretty close, can't we? I'd be interested to see whether the effects are changing.
Yeah.
Because as that little elemental or quasi-elemental or demi-elemental or whatever he is fades, so does this potentially. Actually, let's go to a moat. That's a good shout. Let's go through the fire moat because I want to ask Kroll's spirit about what it is.
So
wait, Wait. The map. We might be able to not go through the fire moat, go through a different moat.
Yeah. So
No,
why
the
don't I?
fire, the fire's
Realistically, we
Mhm.
think a moat should be right here, and we should go figure it out.
I'm gonna go try to pull this up for everybody to watch. Give me
like
Oh.
a steam or whatever it is,
Yeah.
because it's between the
Exactly.
water and, is it between water and?
Yeah, because is this air or water? I think this is water. Either this one. No, this would have to be. Wait, fuck. Which one's which? This is ice, so that's this one and this one are air and water, but I don't know which one's which. Oh, this one was super windy. This is air. So this would be smoke.
Okay.
Tasha's gonna beat on this. Actually,
I am interested in elemental stuff.
yeah. Tasha's gonna beat on this. He's good. All right, and then sorry, let me switch this over here. The overlay just has to be fixed real quick. Bam. All right, because the viewers couldn't see what you were talking about, so now I'm setting it up so that they can. And there you go. You want to ping where you were pinging?
Yep. So this is where we need to investigate. We believe is the smoke. We have the air one because it was super windy. We have water, and all the in-betweens is what we believe. Thanks to this one showing up, we believe this will be smoke.
Yep. Correctamundo. Yep. Awesome. Beautiful. So that's the plan for us to go to by that location, which, funny enough, is pretty much directly south to where Vigil is. So no snapping. So coming from here, you're literally gonna pass right through there before you start hooking around and going to where Vigil actually is, right? My camera froze. I can fix that real quick.
Oh dear.
And I honestly, I think as we talked about, I found out what the issue is, and so I just have to buy a device to, more or less, I have too many USBs plugged in between that device, so it's annoying. We'll fix it. At least now I know the problem, and I can fix it. All right, so you guys are gonna be heading south, because it's only 2 hexes south. It takes you like a better part of a day to get down there because you don't have Nathan going wind that back, so you can go super fast. So you guys are going to start heading south, and eventually you head to that moat, that area. How are you going to try to find the actual moat? Because it's not like, boom, this whole hex, right? It's somewhere within that hex. How are you going to find the moat? What's the plan?
Well, I will likely use some fire stuff, but I know that's only part of it. So we'd have to be looking for wind changes mixed in with the fire. So what would be my best?
Let's see here. What can I do?
I mean, honestly, just every now and then, just burning hands into the air, and I'd obviously know the feeling of like whether I'd be able to tell if it was stronger or not, and then we can follow the direction it blows.
Yeah.
Or we could make smoke. Is there a pond or something nearby where we could?
That's steam.
You're right. It is. Just burn something and follow the smoke.
I don't really want to go around burning stuff particularly.
We don't need to burn much.
I mean, they're Australian. This is what they do.
I'm gonna
say it was blurry. I'm glad that was blurry because we don't want to upset any viewers with your fucking crassness.
Why is it blurry? It shouldn't be blurry.
It was
it takes a little while for it. Yeah. We can navigate to approximately where we expect this to be, and then we can have a look.
Okay. So even just trying to find this location rather than walking around and spurting up fire, what's your attack or your approach to even just trying to like navigate? Like, well, we know that's this way. You don't have a map with you necessarily, but you're like, we know of this. We know of this. What's your like? You trying to like survival checks? Trying to map out the distance? You trying to like? What's your plan here?
So I know that that the
well,
fire...
we do have maps. They gave us maps. We paid people to map out the areas.
Yeah, we have maps of the location. We know where the fire moat is. So we presume that this must be on a direct line from the fire moat, which means that we have a single line to check.
We actually can. Yeah, we also can then line up curves fall from that.
And so
And we
we
would
can
have a
presume,
point.
we can presume it's within this area because this is the line where the Kurzfall and the fire moat intersect. That's a good
The
show.
fire moat and the wind moat, which we do know where it is.
So this allows you to make a knowledge geography check. An intelligence-based approach.
Knowledge geography is 3.
Knowledge
What about you?
local?
Yeah, local.
I live here?
Is he gonna let it? How about just a
Knowledge local? No?
fuck.
Just because you know where to get a good panini doesn't mean you know where to find this thing. Okay.
Of course I do, because the only good panini is used during the fire. Is used using the fire elemental energy.
Neil's giving a speech instead of pressing a button.
Fine.
I'm giving you guidance.
All right, I'm pushing the button. I did it. Just saying, if that was
50.
Stonekeeper and I'd said, how about this? He'd have been like, yes.
Not true.
That is true. I watched it happen.
Uh-oh. Well, what have you done? Don't anger the DM.
All right, yeah, you sip your gross beverage. I'm gonna drink my bean juice like a god. That's right.
No, you muted me. I
know.
literally let in.
So
You did it again. Nice.
you go looking around trying to find out where this is. The issue is that you aren't able to easily triangulate exactly where to go, Neil. You're able to, or all three of you, you're able to get like a good roundabout, like a kind of area where it is. From there, next thing I'm going to want you to do is make me perception checks or survival checks, because that's going to help you get the rest of the way. Unless
Okay.
y'all suck.
I'd like to use arcane. I'd like to use arcane sight for this bit.
Sure.
Perception or survival. Let's use perception.
Oh no.
There you go. That's good enough.
And I'll respect
Glad-
Laszlo in chat, please.
Rival.
Is Crawl gonna do anything, or is he just gonna stand around? And it's one of those things where you notice that he's like really digging at his ass, and you like look at him and you hope that he has like a little bit of propriety to stop, but he just like really got an itch, and so he digs in further, and you're like, this guy's awkward.
Well, ignoring that, Kroll thinks they're going to the ghost, so he's just following them.
Okay, cool.
They haven't said anything, you know what I mean? So
That's true.
Give me one more moment.
It should theoretically be basically on the way. We're just doing a little detour right now. He just doesn't know that.
So sorry, just trying to find something. There it is. I just have to retrain my eyes to find stuff a certain way. So close. So close. All right. Anyways,
Hey, you should have liked it. Oh, well.
So, you guys are making your way down
Town.
to the to the town.
Walking fast.
South of Kurzfall, and you're trying to find the area where it is. One of the things that kind of stands out to you at one point in time is in the forest, you notice an area where the trees seem to grow much larger, like much larger than the trees around it. It strikes you as strange, like, maybe this is where the moat is, larger trees. I guess that could be a thing. And so you start going over there and checking it out. And you notice, like I said, you come into a thicket of trees that do tend to grow wider and taller and so on and so forth. As you make your way through the thicket, it's not a very thicker area. All of a sudden you notice you come to an area where the trees are much smaller and smaller, look sickly, and then get to a point where the trees no longer can grow. They just lack the ability to grow anymore. Unfortunately, Arcane Sight isn't going to notice the moats just like it hasn't noticed the other ones beforehand, because this is something slightly different, right? But you are able to walk in and realize this is off. Crawl.
You sure this is the smoke moat and not the salt moat?
Smoke. Yeah, because carbon dioxide is what trees need to
Yeah,
grow and do well.
Yeah.
So Krull, you
Too much, it dies. A good amount, it grows.
So, Krull, you are there, and once it's like you're like walking through, like you're saying, kind of like mindlessly following them, and so finally, when you're in that center area, and you all breathe in.
Ooh, that's gonna be bad.
Make me everybody fortitude save.
I knew that was coming.
Oops.
I was about to ask, how's the air before?
Oh yeah. Ain't nothing
Go on,
compared
I'll
to a
take it.
devil, baby.
Sir?
That's a thing. Head. I may have to jump up in a second. My food's almost here.
Cool.
Is it just me making a save, or is that?
Yeah, we've all been waiting. It's cool.
Shut
Oh,
up,
I've
Scott.
I made my save. What are you talking about?
What?
There we
Oh.
go.
It
He
was just
woke
a
up.
bit of. It was just a bit of Aussie lag.
No, he
Wait,
fell
I
asleep
gotta
at his
be right back
desk.
real quick.
It's actually a
I
thing
can
in
still
Australia. Except for that bird, he didn't hear that. You guys are in there, and honestly, it's a little difficult to breathe in there. Like you kind of get into the area, and you all take a breath, and it's one of those like, like the air is
Like being in a fire.
yeah, like being in a fire. The air is a little difficult to breathe. Like you can feel air going into your lungs, but you don't feel like you're really breathing. It almost has like a little bit of a burning sensation on your lungs as you're taking it in, but not so much like you're exactly standing in a fire. And the air almost has a little bit of a funny taste to it. Again, as you can imagine, smoke might have. It's the air that's tasteless and scentless that you have to worry about, though. Because, carbon dioxide is not the only byproduct of burning stuff. Anyways, so you go into it, and Krull, you're the one that realizes, yeah, this is, where this is. You're standing by one of those moats. You can recall it. You recall giving the commands to bind the creature here. You recall the temple. It's not too far. You can't remember where it is, but the temple, it can't be too far. Definitely within maybe 100 miles or so from here.
100 miles.
100 miles. That was my reaction to it being 100 miles.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, there was just silence. And I was like, oh god, did something happen?
No,
That's right.
100 miles is like 9 hexes.
Do you say or do anything, Jake?
big.
Starts talking to himself, and he's like, "A temple? What temple? Can't breathe here."
What are you muttering about, Krull? I
Quiet.
think we should.
What temple?
I think we should move out.
Quiet. What temple? Why? What is this place? This is
Raerin's
strange.
gonna move towards the healthy looking trees.
The healthier trees. So as you're standing there and thinking about it, again, it's the idea is like there is a moat that's there. You know that there's a bound creature that's there. But then you realize of all the bound creatures, that elemental. You realize it. You knew this element. Yes, you were there, or at least gave the order for all the elementals to be bound. Sure. But for at least the current ones, right? But this specific one, you knew this elemental in life. Not just your life, but in its life. It was chosen for a reason.
You see, he gets a very angry look on his face, and amidst whilst he's coughing, he says to himself, "You know this creature. I wish to see it. Where is it? Where? Is it close?"
You get no
Answer
such.
me.
Ilen's going to
When
give
he
Raerin a
doesn't-
look like, well, let this play out.
When he doesn't feel anything in his mind, he gets angrier. And he said, "You brought me here for a reason. I want to see the elemental." No response. He stops for a second and then he just shouts in a rather commanding voice. He's like, "Show me." And then all of a sudden you see almost come out of him. He's going to manifest a incorporeal form of the Mole King. Except he'll look like, not like he did last time you seen him.
It actually almost look like he's
Oh.
comprised of. Oh, my fucking camera. It actually almost look like he is made out of smoke.
That's cool.
Yeah, so he's going to bring him forth.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is the first time he's actually even seen him face to face, if you can say that. So he just looks at him and he goes, "I didn't want to be here. I'm only here because of you. Where is the creature?"
It responds saying, "You're here because they brought you here."
"Where is he? Why can I not breathe? What is the creature that you are so familiar with?"
It walks, but again, even though you see its waist moving and you see its thighs and its knees and its, calves moving in the motion of walking, its feet are so insubstantial, it's not like it's actually walking on the ground. It's just doing the motions of walking, but it's kind of actually floating along the ground, right? And so its body doesn't actually like jump up and down slightly like a typical walk does. It has this like uneery glide where you can literally watch it walking, but it still glides forward smoothly. It's a little unearing to see, but nonetheless.
And
So
we're
it's-
hearing what it's saying?
Yes.
Good.
You see it walking around the circle, and it says, "It's a moat. It's a place of power, a place for channeling. A fallback point if needed to defend. A launching point if needed to attack. A point for certain magics to be made more powerful and others to be made weaker. A point for experiments to go well."
Interesting. And he looks at him and he says, "Can we use it?" And by we, he means himself and the Mole King, not actually the others.
I was never gifted with the art.
Kroll kind of growls a little, and then with a sort of like he turns away, and the spirit just kind of vanishes.
The important thing to notice on this one, for the two of you, is when he turns away and the spirit vanishes, is that even though we all understand the significance of the spirit and the fact that the spirit definitely has a strong control of Kroll, so on and so forth, the fact that his anger summoned the spirit and his disappointment or anger dismissed the spirit means that there's still a degree of control that Kroll has back over it.
Yeah.
So you can notice the tug of war taking place. Okay.
Well,
Well, this isn't the place that you were meant to be taking me. Can we move on?
Interesting. So the moats were nothing more than
Tools.
magical fortifications.
It would appear.
Releasing those who are trapped is more viable now, I think.
Whatever you say.
Anyway, we at least learned something there. Shall we continue?
I suppose so.
By all means.
uh,
You can tell Kroll he's annoyed.
yeah, and you can
And he
also
does-
tell that like that wasn't directed at you. Like
No,
even
no,
if he
that's
butts in,
fine.
like it's it's not
You can
necessarily
see
rude,
he's
but
yeah, like you're probably not used to it, but he's not trying to be rude. He's not showing you what would be like the normal, obviously, respect of subject and ruler. Do you know what I mean? He's literally just like when he quieted Raerin before. He wasn't trying to be rude, but he just doesn't care.
yeah.
Not caring is rude. Well,
Yeah, well,
like, look, it's my birthday. I want to go to dinner here. I'm not trying to be rude. I just don't give a shit. Okay.
well, he's rude, and it's not in his thought though.
Gotcha. So,
He's not being intentionally disrespectful.
you make your way down to Vigil, back on the road again, having experienced a smoke moat just for moments, not really doing much experimentation there, just being like, okay, well, hopefully that carbon monoxide doesn't eventually give me cancer. And you head down to Vigil. When you get there, there's still that standing bit of army on the other side of the lake. That's there for, God forbid they need to act. Hopefully they don't. And there's still the boats, of course, on the lake itself. Then there's the city. Where do you guys actually go?
We'd want to do. What do you think? This is not in character. This is me genuinely.
Raerin would. Artie, did you just lick your bum on camera? Oh my god! I'm so sorry about my child. I swear I trained it better than this. I just looked over and I saw her face. She was like, "That tasted bad." I was like, "No." Raerin would like we'd approach. We can see the city and the lake in the distance, and he'd look towards Kroll.
Where are they?
Within the city.
He nods, and he'll just start kind of setting out that way.
I would be careful. Their numbers are vast.
I see. Keeps going.
No,
Oh, fuck.
Mog has been traveling with you guys this entire time. You hadn't conversed with him about any of the details thus far. Did you want to have that conversation or a conversation with him as you were
As
going?
he starts heading off ahead, I'm sure as hell not keeping up with him when he gets torn apart by specters. Raerin would lean over to Morg and say, I think the ritual is a no-go. Apparently it will merely bind the spirits once again, not free them.
Why did you say this?
It's what your
He
friend
said
over there
this.
believes.
Yes.
Artie, please.
Probably overhearing it as he's walking away, he'll probably just stop and turn around. And he'll walk back and he says, the ritual binds them. It does get rid of them. I don't see what the fuss is about not doing it, but they don't wish to do it all the same.
I wish for their souls to move on.
Move on to where?
To wherever they wish to go.
I suppose that's a question to ask them individually, right?
Indeed, it is becoming more and more apparent that souls are just used as another form of currency. He glances towards Ilen as he says this.
Yeah, and there is a sort of just look of it's almost a like worry mixed with a little bit of hope that this isn't the case.
I believe that Nankaro is right. He is attempting to stop this.
Oh, God damn it.
Gods should have no more right to a mortal soul than any mortal, unless it is freely given.
Indeed.
That sounds like it could be considered blasphemy to some.
Raerin gives him a look. For once, I will mimic Kroll. I don't care. Blasphemy.
He shrugs when you say that. Continue.
Blasphemy is the term that many have used for all forward thinkers.
Actually, when you say that, he goes, that and blasphemers. Because
Yes, but there's a fine line.
He chooses not to argue. And we leave it alone. So you guys continue to make your way towards the city, and as you like are walking your way towards it or whatever, he says, "I still think you're wrong. I think it is supposed to pull them back to their center point. We can use that. It'd be nice if I could see it. Is there any way for us to get in the city? For us to find what it is that caused this? Because you said that you knew what ritual pulled them forth in the first place. Do you have ability to find center point?"
Well, I mean, we know where it started, right?
Not
Raerin
Ilen, but
was
yes.
No, not Ilen, but yeah, we know.
The
He
spectres
knows.
were initially summoned in a graveyard. Octavia plunged the sword of the vigil into her chest, sacrificing her life and unlocking them from their slumber.
Very powerful. This woman would appear to be. How did she manage such a feat?
It is a mixture of divine magic and the rituals of the Barren Lands, I believe.
Interesting.
You what is it? You continue to make your way towards the city, around the lake, so on and so forth, till you get to the city's outer wall, and from there, you can already start to feel the difference of what's going on. You can already feel kind of like the power coming from the inside of the city, the creatures that exist there, so on and so forth. So you're making your way in, and just being like very aware of what's happening. As you make your way around, you can actually get over to the area where the gate is open. You know, there's a wall was knocked down. Thanks, Josh. And you can see into the city. And inside there, you don't see many by any stretch. You see like one, maybe two specters floating about, seeming to be listlessly. Maybe they're not aware of you. Maybe they don't care about you. But honestly, in the daylight, it's hard to notice them because sun passes right through them. They barely disrupt the air around them. I mean, from such a distance, it's difficult. I just know that you guys have obnoxiously high perception checks, or at least one of you do. So at least one of you will be able to notice it, hence me pointing it out, right? So you can notice them kind of like, again, listlessly moving about. It's almost like if you took the disruption of air that you see as an invisibility effect in games like StarCraft and Halo and stuff like that, but you add it almost like a smoky
Predator
nature to
shimmer.
it. Yeah. And you add it like almost like a smoky-ish or discolored nature to it as well, right? And that's what you're noticing from the distance. You see it. Moving on. When you're this far out, what's your plan? You know, Neil, how to get directly to that graveyard if that's where you wanted to go. But you also know that there's more than likely more than that one or two boys between here and there.
Do I have anything that can help us go through this? Not really. I mean, I have detect undead, so I mean, I can have detect undead up as like a we have that mini map in games where we see like the going through and we have to avoid them.
Is there a wall ahead of us, or is there really just that many dots?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you have two things, because you almost thought about grabbing the spell like Unlife Shell or whatever it was beforehand, Tesh, but obviously didn't grab it.
Yeah.
So that being said, you of course do have one ability, a really important one. I don't know how long it lasts, but the energy body.
Oh yeah. I mean, that doesn't technically last that long.
Loop it in chat, because I also don't know if it can be used to damage undead. I feel like it can, because I feel like we did that before.
It can, but it's them attacking me, or if I grapple them.
Oh, so
Yeah.
that's positive energy. That doesn't seem like a good idea, because from what we know, at least from the undead that were raised previously, they kind of just went for positive energy or life.
Yeah, and I have I can only do 7 rounds of that, so that's like
That's like, shit, get out of there. So positive energy
wait,
hurts
7
them.
rounds. That might be 8 rounds now. Let me
Yeah,
just
8
double
rounds would
check.
be if you're level 8, yeah.
So did you say there's like a lone spirit or something like in between where we are in the city?
No, in the city is what you see, just the one.
Okay, yeah.
Occasionally, like a second one, listlessly moving about.
All right. Well, Kroll just kind of looks around, kind of spies one out, and he slowly approaches.
So as you're approaching the actual city itself, because you're not even through the walls yet, right? You're just kind of like on the other side of the walls. You're not even to where Grishka, unveiled himself for his stand. Grishka's stand. You start walking forward, and as you're walking forward, you can start to notice, like as you're getting closer and closer to the city, that there seems to be a little bit more motion about, and you become keenly aware of the fact that there's not just that one or two that you happen to notice. It's just the distance by which you were trying to view them. You couldn't quite make out the other ones due to the translucence and difficult nature it is to spot them, especially in daylight, right? As you get closer, you realize, no, there's 3. 7? 20 something, maybe? I'm not sure how many I'm counting right now because they're hard to pinpoint out individually. And they don't stay still. So they like move and sometimes through buildings and stuff like that. So it's really hard to keep track of. But there's not just a couple, there's a bunch. And it's not like there's one kind of like separated out from the rest of them. It's very much like, right. It's very much kind of like moving about kind of near each other inside the city itself. You can pick and choose almost like your approach to the city because that whole wall had been taken down. So you have to walk straight through the front gates sort of a thing. But you can make your way over rubble of the walls, the partially removed rubble. Because remember, before this happened, they were actively trying to fix the wall, right? So the partially removed rubble, you can get over that and try to pick the approach into the city.
Can Raerin call out, because we're still presumably behind him, but not too far away?
Yeah, oh yeah. I imagine even so, he only moved up maybe like 100, 120 feet, nothing crazy. And even still, if he walked up that far, Mog would have gone 2/3 that distance with him, probably moved up about 90 feet as well. So he's only about 30 feet behind.
Raerin would call out to be careful then. Be careful. I'd rather if you didn't disturb the hornet's nest.
Mog actually looks back and says, hey, Hearth, you got a trick?
To what? What do you want me? I can detect them, and I'm worried if I use any of my abilities, they will come calling.
Well, I mean, I can, as I said before, I can make us not so visible, right? So I can, make it so they might have a hard time finding us, like I did before.
Okay. Then that combined with detect undead should make it much harder for them to see us. if we move carefully.
Oh, hells. I'd hoped to have one with us when we did this. But I want to see this done, and I do not necessarily want to do a ritual that will hurt these creatures, prevent them from passing on. So I suppose we must make some risks, some sacrifices.
I'm just looking at the confines of the spell. Because it is 1 creature touch per level, so he can literally do exactly 4 creatures.
Lucky.
So he says, I'm just giving you a heads up, this won't even last an hour. So if we're going in there, we have to make sure we move quick. And remember too, that if we're dealing with them walking dead, they're dumb. They won't notice us. But you're dealing with something with a bit of a brain to it, like your friend was before. He says, looking very directly at Raerin. It'll see through.
I think, unfortunately, we're...
Sorry, Ilen. And you distinctly remember when you came out of that door before, she just looked like she noticed something and looked directly at you, and that feral look in her eye, how it struck pity and fear into you beforehand. I'm so sorry. Ilen, back to you.
You would mention that there's likely much less of the feral ones left, unfortunately. We made an effort to drive them out, or at least pull them out. They're still here, I imagine, but much less.
Nonetheless, well, he doesn't say it like that. He says, still, we need to make them see us less. Less they see us, less they might notice us. Magic is only so strong. My rituals are only so strong. For quick ones like this.
I'm
looking at the basic will save.
Yeah, no, I don't think I have anything that could work to help us, unfortunately. I have Bless. That's just combat thing, isn't it?
Anybody else have any sneaky, stuffy?
Let us try our best.
I have Summon Monster.
Raerin's going to infuse himself with negative energy.
Okay.
Because then he will appear as an undead, in effect.
Okay, I know you're telling me that, right?
Yes.
Good.
And then he will look at Ilen and say, I can make you invisible for a time.
That is probably a good idea.
Oh, Raerin. Sexy. You're sexy and you know it.
I will likely attract attention should I have to use any of my healing.
Yes. Well, that won't work on me right now anyway.
Where was the spell
Right.
cast that bound these?
The graveyard.
Is it far?
Not particularly. Vigil is a compact city.
How many lie within the city? The spirits.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't think we had any sort of number.
Many people have died on the walls. Many people died in the city.
Raerin, I know you like a bit of exposition, but we were having some pretty rough weather over in the other keep, and we've been traveling for a couple days, and the skies are starting to get a bit dark. We don't know if these are ghosts or specters. Let's hope it's the former. Sorry, wait, let's hope it's the latter, because the sun will make them weak. But if those clouds come much closer, we might be in a worse condition. We should probably get a walking.
Okay.
Well,
Pardon me, sorry.
let us go then. Raerin will cast invisibility. This won't last long.
Let's go. Hut.
Okay. So, you
Pardon
cast
me?
invisibility on how many people?
It's a single person.
Okay, so just one invisibility on Ilen.
Ilen.
Okay. he casts hide from undead on all 4 of you. So if they notice you, they might not even be able to notice you. And then you cast bestow negative energy infusion on yourself, which honestly might even confuse them into thinking that you're not a target. So who knows? Anyways, you and the 4 of you start, creeping your way in. I would like everybody to do me a favor and go ahead and just roll a stealth check as you're trying to make your way into the city. Are we? Because I know obviously you may have had a specific plan there, Jake. But did you, aside from that, maybe, were you guys all heading towards specifically the graveyard?
Yeah.
Okay. And Ilen, don't forget you get a plus 20.
Sweet.
After these rolls, can we actually take a quick break?
We can, and for you, Raerin, I don't think fallback strategy will really work because it's going to be relatively quick getting in there. You have to keep casting it like per roll, so you know, because the stealth is for an extended, right? So it does apply for this one.
Can I give him the stealth back? Can I give him the stealth back?
I'm gonna go ahead and take a reroll on that.
Jesus Christ! It takes a plus 20 for you to equal crawl.
Fullback strategy. Fullback strategy.
Jesus, crawl's good.
And mine's 38.
Plus 20, yeah.
Okay. Cough.
Mark, you little.
He's an old man.
Ah, fuck.
Yeah, exactly. He's basically dead already.
Oh, actually, no. My apologies. He also had to cast this.
Oh, thank God.
So I mean, that doesn't mean that they're invisible. It just means that they're harder to notice. So once again, pass without trace, hide from undead. At least one of you has invisibility. Everybody's rolling stealth checks. Mog failed his stealth check. Chat is suggesting for you guys to luck it. Do you want to luck it for him?
Oh, can we luck his one?
Yeah, he's an advisor.
I think this is the time to luck it.
Who wants to be responsible? I say Jake. And by Jake, I actually mean Jake.
Good, I was about to ask.
Well, he's double digits. And with that, we'll take, at request, a break. So we will be right back. See everybody momentarily.
Isn't this, you see the working conditions we have? We have to request breaks.
Oh, it's a good thing. So you can go pee.
I know, I need to pee, Scott. I've got a UTI from all this waiting because of you. I'm suing you. I'm American now.